Hi friends, in our time together today, I want us to walk through and learn the core of the tune, The Soldier's Joy. We'll get into a bunch of stuff today. I'll walk us through the tune standing, going phrase at a time through the A and B part, and could those each repeat. And I'll just go through those once, one phrase at a time, slowly, so that if you're learning by watching and listening, you could do that. Then we'll have the play along with Scott section, where I'll just play through the entire tune at a steady pace so that you can play along with me after you've learned kind of the flow of the tune. And the tune's got what feels to me like a pretty natural flow. And I'll add, like I do, chapters to the video, so if you want to jump around, you can. I'll put a link at the top of the notes to this video so that you could access the page on my website from which to download the music and tabs for this fun hornpipe. And speaking of which, when I create and share the music and tabs, and I often say this, what I do is sometimes I'll go through and I'll find a transcription and then I'll massage it some because it seems like the popular transcriptions don't necessarily match up. This is such an old tune that there are a lot of transcriptions out there for it, and they vary kind of based on who your favorite player was and how you transcribed how they play it. Isn't that how it goes with a lot of the music that's like this traditional music that we play? What I did for this tune is I found what seems to be the most common transcription that I found on the traditional Irish music websites and the fiddle websites and such. And I took that one and I massaged it minimally. Now, one of the things I did that I personally think is important, this is a hornpipe. Hornpipes aren't played with a straight rhythm, but a lot of people, they transcribe it with the straight rhythm and then say, play it like a hornpipe. I'm like, then why didn't you transcribe it like a hornpipe? So when you see this written in music, if you're a music reader person, you'll see it written this way. That's not how you play a hornpipe. A hornpipe's bum ba-dum 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 bum 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 ba-dum 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 bum. It's that long and then short, and it's bouncy, it's dancey, and I feel like it should be transcribed that way if that's the kind of tune it is, and so that's what I do. Anyway, download the music and tabs if you use those. There are so many different versions of this one tune, and if you already know the tune, you may know a slightly different version, and that's perfectly fine. Enjoy it and love it. And you never know if you go to a session or play with some other folks, you never know what version you're going to have to play. So, but they all follow the same basic flow and feel. So that's great. So the play along with Scott section, then I'll talk about some challenges you might experience, a little bit on ornamentation and expression, and a little caveat there. And then we're going to get into a bit of the history of the tune. So anyway, that's that. So now let me walk us through the A part, one phrase at a time, so that you can learn that. If you want to jump back and just listen to that a few times, that's great. Remember, I've got the chapters. It's helpful to get this into your brain. Even if you read music and tabs, have it while we walk through the tune, the core of the tune, so that you're not married to the music. You don't want to be married to the printed page. So, A part. bouncy, punchy. So go back and listen to those phrases as much as you need to. If you want, skip ahead to the Play Along with Scott section and just listen to me play it through at a steady pace a number of times. But this is really helpful, and a lot of folks use this for their learning. Even if you're reading music, this is so helpful. So anyway, here's the B part. Great way to play through the tune. Now, let's go to the Play Along with Scott section, and I'll play it at just a steady pace in hornpipe rhythm, including the repeats. So fun. I think you're going to love playing this tune if you don't already know it. So dive in, learn the tune. So, possible difficulties. Some of it, you're going to have to work on some of the phrasings. Like that first phrase, I think you might stumble over, or maybe not. But it's possible. That you might need to start off playing it that slow. If you try and play it quickly, you're going to get stumbly in the finger. Oh, excuse me. So dial it back to a pace you can play it. Get comfortable. Pick up the pace. Get comfortable. Repeat. Repeat. And then see, take the little bite-sized chunks and get them comfortable in your fingers. You may need to do that. You also need to play. There may be other phrases you find. Try and play it through, and as you hit a phrase that's a roadblock, work the phrase. Now you also have to play up to the second octave A on your whistle. And each repeat in the B part, you've got to play the second octave A 4 times. So, that's why I say get used to learning how to play the top notes on your whistle. It's really, really important. So work it through. If you hit difficulties, you may need to work on the phrasing, but stick to learning that hornpipe phrasing. Get that. Make sure it feels bouncy, dancy to you. So, ornamentation and expression. In a couple of days, I'm going to share a practice session where I'm starting to figure out with whistle in hand. And I'm playing the Howard today, and I'll put a link to a couple of places where you could pick up a Howard if you really want to try. This one's I love my Howard. I use the balanced head, and I've had a number of conversations with different folks recently about some of the heads. In a couple of days, I'm going to play through a practice session with ornamentation. I've avoided myself ornamenting it too much because I want in a couple of days the reality of here's what I'm trying, here's what I'm thinking, here's how it feels in the moment. I want to share reality with you. I don't want to have nailed the tune with ornamentation and expression and then come back and pretend. I want it to be a real experience. I'm thinking there's a lot of places, it's bouncy, it's a dance, so there are great opportunities, I'm feeling like, for rolls in some of those bigger transition bits, obviously cuts and taps, just, I don't know, may even throw a slide in, we'll see. I'm probably not going to vibrato this one because it's a dance tune. Anyway, give me a couple of days to experiment with it. In the meantime, work on the core of the tune and listen to different folks, different groups, and particularly some fiddle players to get a feel for the bounce and the flow they're using. All right, now let's think through the history of the tune. Soldier's Joy is like a really old tune. The first transcription was found in dating back to 1760. And if you have something that was transcribed in 1760 as a popular tune, that means the tune's been popular for a good while before that. Now again, it's another tune with different names. The Soldier's Joy is the most popular name by which it's known for a good while. It has been known for a good while, but it goes by quite a few other names as well. So I'm not, I wasn't around in 1760 hearing people play this to know exactly what they called it then, or in particular if the lyrics were associated with it back then. If you've got something that is honestly verifiable about that, stick them in the comments to the video. Not rumor, but actual, historic thing. Now, this is an incredibly popular tune. So stinking popular. Ireland, Scotland, England, the United States. This skyrocketed to popularity in the U.S. during the American Civil War, which is funny but a lot of people were sitting around playing music together. And in the videos I've watched videos of people from all kinds of musical backgrounds playing this fun hornpipe. So it's a blast, and it's really far-reaching in its influence. And so a number of you already, I'm sure, know the tune. If you do know the tune, stick a comment in as to where you learned it and what instruments you've learned it on. That's always kind of fun. Now, the crazy thing is the lyrics that currently ride with the tune are about the title that we know the tune by, The Soldier's Joy. And it turns out that A Soldier's Joy is cheap liquor, according to according to the lyrics anyway. But the popularity of the tune is not based on the lyrics. The popularity of the tune is based on the tune. And so, but the lyrics, I think, at different times, like in the U.S. Civil War, I think the lyrics were also popular, particularly soldiers sitting around playing the hornpipe. But if you know more to add, there's not a lot on the history of the tune. It's just a delight to play, though, and it's really old. How about that? We know that for sure. So if you know more about the history of the tune that can be verified, stick that in the comments. Anyway, I hope this is helpful, friends. I hope you enjoy learning this tune. In a couple of days, I'm going to dive into sharing my practice session. If you've liked the video, please hit that like button. If you're new here and just checking us out, please subscribe. We'd love to welcome you into our community of folks learning to play the whistle, focused on the low whistle, and really helping low whistle players out. Until next time, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling, friends.